So, coming home from Easter, my sister had come to an epiphany and wanted a specific painting, so she commissioned me to make it after finding out whether anyone else has made it in exactly the way she wanted, which apparently not. I highly doubt no one else has come up with this idea, because it's... I was about to say pretty basic. It's self-explanatory, question mark? And I wanted to have some fun and try acrylic paint, so I was just like, hell yeah, I will do it. So technically my sister got my dad to buy me the stuff to make it, and it's a lot of fun, I thought. So basically I want to try the palette knife kind of thing. I see it on Instagram. I think it's just one person, it keeps on coming up, of people making jars and stuff and with shadows and stuff, and I was just like, texture. I really wanted to try some texture. So I got to try out some new stuff. So I got some brand new paint, so this nice bluey grey that my sister picked out, which is the base of this painting, the background colour, and then the colour with which I add different shades and colours to... I think it keeps it balanced. Also, it just blends better in my opinion. I'm also don't know what I'm doing. So I did this one, was my first try. I then did, my sister wanted it in a darker shade range, so I added more of the black to the next one, and then I went in and made the real thing. And I would say one thing I did with my first painting that I actually didn't do with the rest was to not let it dry. So for this one I had a plan of the composition that I did online. I did it digitally to just be like, oh, how's this, to my sister, and then I went in. So I just did as you can see, it was just blank canvas, add in the colour. I then added in a bit of grey mixed with blue to try and add some shade difference, kind of lighter in the space that's then going to not have clouds. You can't see it very well on the camera, but you can see it more. You can see it a bit more in real life. It's at least worth it in real life. And then just went in straight with the clouds. One of the things that I kind of brought in, so she wanted a darker shade range, but her initial picture of clouds was of kind of a pastel-y, not uber Etsy kawaii pastel, but an actual traditional version of clouds that's still pastel. And then just she added the concept, which I still haven't explained because I'm dumb, of a silver lining to the cloud. So I kind of took so much inspiration from that one of the shade range. So there's the mid white grey, and then also kind of yellowy at the top and purplier, so the two sides of the scale. And I think it turned out real cute. Feel free to tell me if you think I'm wrong. There's always other opinions. And then adding the silver outline, and I don't know if she wanted me to outline the entire thing, but wasn't going to do that, so I used it kind of as the light source, so that kind of just went where the lightest colour, the yellow soft top of the cloud was. One of the things I absolutely adore about this technique, other than just texture, of keeping it wet, is how easily it melds into each other, but you can still keep it distinct. Now, I was really frustrated. I enjoyed, but also was frustrated by the Game Grumps doing acrylic pours and stuff, which I know is very different, but there's a point where you have to stop. And one of the things I've learnt with acrylics is that, also since I've been doing more digital stuff, it was a bit of a whew. There's no undo button. When something's down, it's fudged. if you fudged it, you fudged it, and you better work with it, better make it some intentional, because otherwise it's gonna look dumb. But of course I think once again keeping it wet rather than going in layers means that you can kind of meld and mute colours more easily, because otherwise I'd probably have to do another layer of the background colour, and then gosh dang, you'd hope that your background colour is a pre-made colour, because otherwise you're never going to mix that exactly the same again. I mean, there was this one artist that just had spent ages doing one painting, and it was just a shade of blue that he developed, and just the perfect blue that he created in his opinion. That's art for you, and it's a lot of fun, but you need to know when to stop, how to stop, and to be happy with what you've got, because nothing's ever going to be exactly as it is in your mind's eye. You can just enjoy what you've got. Now I've finished it, looking back over the experience, it was a lot of fun. I was doing my dissertation very obsessively. I haven't had a laptop, that's the reason I haven't been updating much before the last weeks or so. I still haven't got my laptop back, and it gave me kind of something else to obsess over. So I did the first day after we went into Oxford, into an art store and got it. The second day I did this painting in one, I don't know, I'd say I waited for it to dry in between the base and the silver, which is a new colour. It was quite good actually. And and then the next day I did the darker one, and then I think the day after that I did the finished design. And on the day of the second one I used pencil and sketched out the composition, because it's different, because it was a lot fudging bigger, because that's the size she wanted, and this was more about technique and planning and seeing whether or not I could do anything competent, because once again this was my first try. Other than that, as an experience, first of all, I'd recommend never I didn't really ask if I wanted to do this. I feel like it's a big sister it's never the same experience if you get commissioned or get asked to do anything from your family versus other human beings. They're a bit more pushy and they're not going to pay you. So, I would say I can do one of those YouTube horror stories of I'm the worst commission ever, blah blah blah. It wasn't that bad actually. And it was, I was about to say it was a good experience to feel like I was appreciated as an artist, but that wasn't really it. It was not really about me, it was about what she wanted done. I don't feel like she actually appreciated it when she got it. Or at least for how much effort I actually put in. But I had fun doing it, so maybe, it's the process of learning and enjoying new things that's really what you gain. At least. If you're doing it for your job, then just stay away from doing it for your family. Yeah, I had a good time. So yeah, I can't tell you much on the technique. I can show you. You can try to do exactly what I've done. It was fun. I'd recommend you try it out. I'd recommend just getting a big thing of white and then some normal colours, mixing it all up. It's a lot of fun. And I got this set from the works, the little palette set, I think, for it couldn't have been £2, it could have been £1. And yeah, just a lot of fun. Try it out if you thought it was cute. If you think you can do better, you probably can. And thank you for coming in, guys.